Hello and welcome to this course. My name is John Lees. I'm a careers author and a career coach. And this course is about how you can reboot your career, either launching a career or transforming a career in the voluntary sector. So during the course of these 4 parts, we're going to be looking at the critical stages in terms of rethinking and relaunching your career. The first one is to think about what kind of career you're really looking for. The second is to give you some tips about an effective job search in a very tough marketplace. The third part is going to help you to think about getting better results from your CV. And in part 4, we'll be giving you some of the insider secrets in the interview game, what you need to do to get an employer to say yes. So looking at this course as a whole, what we're going to do is to give you some practical steps, practical advice in terms of matching yourself to the world of work and what's out there, particularly in the voluntary and third sector. We're going to give you some tips in how to shorten your job search time, make sure that you've got an effective CV that moves you through the shortlisting process and gets you into the interview room. And once you're in the interview, you'll be able to draw on the tips that we give you in part 4 of this course on a better and more effective and more successful interview performance. So let's get started. Welcome to the first part of our Career Reboot series. So in this session, I'm going to talk to you about what ingredients you might be looking for in your career. What kind of career should you choose? It is one of the most common questions that career coaches like me face every day. Or it's a statement really, when people say, I know I want to do something different, but I don't really know what it is. Well, the first place we start is understanding that an awful lot of people haven't yet found work that is reasonably satisfying. We know that because of the experience which we might call the Sunday night work blues. On a Sunday night, you run a little movie in your head about work, and that movie could be exciting, or it could be rather depressing. It could even be a horror film. So it's a question of what happens on a Sunday night when you project ahead, when you think about the activities that you're going to be involved in the world of work. Then, of course, what we do is we meet somebody for coffee on a Monday morning and we say, well, in a perfect world, I'd be doing a job in a completely different sector where my skills were valued and recognised and where I was making a difference. But in the real world, when I'll settle for something quite ordinary and boring. We create the idea of a perfect job, 100% or nothing. And that's actually not very helpful because it means that you're not going to fall across it. And because you're not going to fall across it, you're not going to do much about it. You actually only need to be happy in work for about 3.5 days a week. I'm going to tell you one of the ways that you can start to think about making that happen. So the first thing you can do there is to think about a complete wish list. Now this isn't self-indulgence, it's actually very, very practical. Think about what 10 out of 10 looks like for you in a job. So that will be a mixture of the things that you find motivating and energizing in any kind of work you've ever done. So think about the working environment around you, the people you've been working with, other team members, what your boss is like, the skills you've had the opportunity to use, the learning opportunities you've been presented with, the values of your employer, the kind of outcomes and activities that you get engaged in. Write those things down and think about what 10 out of 10 looks like. And then when you're looking in the marketplace, what you're actually looking for is about 6.5 or 7 out of 10. A really good working overlap between what you want to get out of life and what an employer is looking for. So don't let the idea of the perfect job get in the way. And that's one of the ways that our brain gets in the way of an exciting job search and gets in the way of quite dramatic career change, because we've got these little voices that say you can't do that, this is a really difficult marketplace, in a recession it's not a great time to be moving into a new job. But of course that's exactly what people do all the time, and they do it through opportunity, through luck, yes, but they also do it through being organised and being confident. So confidence is an important matter, so get somebody who can help you with that. And I don't necessarily mean spending a lot of money with a life coach. I mean, find a friend who will remind you of the things that you're good at, who will walk you through your CV and remind you of the times where you actually made a difference and made an impact. The next thing is about matching. So I've said something about looking for what 6.5, 7 out of 10 looks like in a job. Now the only way you do that is to understand yourself better, and we've talked about that that personal wish list. The second part of matching is really understanding what organisations are looking for. So in part 3 and 4, you're going to be looking at the way that you match evidence using your CV and your interview performance. But right now, I'd just like to start by saying what you need to do is start to get a real understanding of what your target employer is looking for. So put it down to maybe 3, 4, 5 organisations that you would really love to work for, and find out, through conversations ideally, what is on their shopping list, the things that really matter. And then what you're doing in everything that you send out, in every time you communicate or tell someone about your job search, is a simple overlapping. You're saying, these are the things I know organisations are interested in, and this is why my CV is a good match. So that's at the heart of this, is to think about the way you're going to come across, the way you're going to find people, the way you're going to find and generate conversations. It's not going to happen by spending all day staring at a computer screen. It's much better to get out there and have conversations, even with just friends and acquaintances. Tell them what you're looking for. Tell them the kind of people that you'd really like to have a conversation with. And think about all the opportunities you can generate to get in front of people and be remembered. But in terms of working out the kind of career that you'd really love to do, my tip to you is this: follow the energy. Think about times in your life when you have been motivated and engaged. Of all the jobs you've ever done in your life, of all the tasks, even summer jobs, holiday jobs, temporary jobs, what did you enjoy doing? What were you actually doing when you were experiencing that enjoyment? Focus back on those key experiences, and you'll have some really powerful clues about the kind of work that will feel worth getting up for on a Monday morning. Now, a great deal of this thinking comes from my book, How to Get a Job You'll Love. And I'd like you also to think about the exercise which we presented for you right now, which is an exercise that gets you to think about what your ideal job looks like. Now, if that worries you and you don't know how to name that or define that, don't worry, because look at the other parts of the screen here, which give you a chance to think about the skills that you'll be using and the qualities that you'd bring to a job and what you would find exciting and fulfilling about that role. So have a look at the ideal exercise, dip into How to Get a Job You'll Love, and maybe come along to Forum 3, which is a fantastic learning event about and for the third sector, where every year we help all kinds of people move into an interesting and exciting career.